One of Walter Hill's best films is most probably The Driver from 1978, a film which features some of the best car chases in action films from that decade, a film which is quite likely to entertain enjoyers of the action genre to this present day, possibly one of the more exciting mainstream American films of the 1970s. The director, the enthused Walter Hill, had helmed a very worthwhile set of features earlier in his career, and The Driver is close to being the strongest of them. 1975's Hard Times, 1979's The Warriors, an immensely beloved film, and 1981's Southern Comfort are the most competitive contenders aside from it. It is a work which manifests a degree of directorial skill that is highly impressive, even for the standards of American directors at that time. If one wasn't aware of the director, they could be induced to eagerly inquire, and it even reminds one of what one of the French directors of that period may have strived to compose when realizing a similar stylistic action thriller piece. Possibly The Driver has been more known nowadays as the creative predecessor to a much celebrated work from 2011, obviously, Nicholas Winding Refn's feature, Drive. Here I have to admit, I'm not and never was overly taken with Drive, though I never felt a sincere dislike for it beyond a measure of frustration at how others were perceiving it versus how I felt the actual affect upon my viewing of it. I was an emigrate admirer of Refn where his films released prior to Drive are concerned. I didn't overwhelmingly admire 2016's The Neon Demon. I wasn't really motivated to check out those miniseries he worked on. Then That Only God Forgives. I did find it interesting, just maybe less of a revelation than Refn aspired toward, and more a film which accomplishes, perhaps little beyond the surface level, bewitching, alienating spirit of the feature. All in all, I do generally admire Refn's works. There is just the two glaring, quite popular, or considering my assessment of them, really actually unpopular exceptions. A film which will excite any older dad if they catch it on television, whether they have seen it before or haven't. The Driver demonstrates a few simple genre traits in such a refined, convicted manner, it may question one's assumptions that these genre purposes were in any way meant to be, or were considered to be, inherently less artful. It may well be one of the better films released during 1978, a year which beheld some stellar titles, including Philip Kaufman's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, John Carpenter's Halloween, Romero's Dawn of the Dead, De Palma's The Fury, Christoph Zanussi's The Spiral, Joseph Losey's Roads to the South, Fred Schepisi's The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, Kinji Fukasaku's The Fall of Eiko Castle, Hideo Gosha's Bandits vs. Samurai Squadron, a work which exists to, in some sense, upend all of this media, that is, Guy Debord's We Spin Around the Night Consumed by the Fire, Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings, Richard Donner's Superman, Monte Hellman's China 9 Liberty 37, Yuan Wu Ping's Drunken Master, and then some bizarre splatter that I like, a movie named Satan's Blood, and the, I think, sorely underrated, garage classic, awe-inspiring, subconscious demonstration of the zeitgeist's pathos, Glorious Laser Blast. Feel free to share your own picks for more interesting or better films of 1978, along with your picks for greatest Walter Hill flicks. It is easy to recommend The Driver, and if you keep your expectations in a more modest place, then this film could have the greatest of effect on you viewing incipiently. Thank you and good night. Stay perpetually in peace.